Hello, my fellow Raiders, Dark Symphony 777, with the final part of the three-part Paper Mario tier list to build anticipation for Temple of the Sun. So, this video we're going to be talking about the partners. The first video I talked about the chapters, second video I talked about the bosses. So, we're just going to round it out with the partners. So, I originally wanted to do the partners first, and I ranked them in the first take on their characters, their character arc, and their moveset, how useful they are in battle. However, I decided not to focus on the battles instead, and focus mainly on their characters, because, you know, fan fiction stuff, I know my characters and my character arc and stuff like that. So, we're not going to be using on the basis of their moveset, because if we went by their moveset, then it'd just be like Lady Bow at the top, because she has out of sight, and out of sight's just literally broken. Like, it's legitimately broken. So we're not gonna focus on moveset, because then it'd just be like Lady Bow, Vivian, Sushi, Want, Gumbaella, and Yoshi. Those would be like the top 6. These are probably the most useful partners in across both games. Oh, yeah. So first off, we're gonna talk their characters, how well they are written, like their character, their main personality, and more importantly, how well they play off Mario, because in Paper Mario and Thousand Year Door, Mario's it doesn't really talk. He just, you know, he waves, he like wiggles his hat, and, you know, he'll do some minor sound bites, but he won't do it like talk. So, you know, a good partner from a character standpoint will how well they kind of play off how well they play off that silent stuff. And their character arc. So characters and character arc are two different things. Like, for instance, a character could be their basic personality, but a character arc could be their individual story in the context of the story. So it's basically like a little story within a story. It's like, okay, a guy is guy A is going on an adventure, and guy B wants to join him, but he wants to go specifically to this town. His base character would just be how he acts and how he plays off guy A, but his character arc will be his journey from point A to point B, and how he develops as a character to that specific point. So, you know, just thought what that is. The thing is, not a lot of these partners have fully fledged character arcs. Some do, some don't. Which is why I originally wanted to, like, add in, like, how well they do in battle, but I decided not to, because, like, again, it would just make it skew too heavily, and, like, one or two characters would mainly be, like, Bow and Vivian. So, let's just go into it. Oh, and also, happy 2022. And like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on that bell for notifications, and give a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts of the video. So we're going to start with Gumbario. Gumbario's B. The main, and I'm actually going to put Goombella in an A. I might as well do these two together, because they have the same issue, and the fact that neither of these characters have a character arc. They don't have a character arc, mainly because you get them at the beginning of the story, because the story structure of Paper Mario and Thousand Year Door is an umbrella-style structure, in the fact that each chapter is their own individual, independent story. So, you know, they do their own thing, but they also kind of branch out and connect to the main story through, like, the MacGuffins, like the Crystal Stars, or the Star Spirits, however, you know, in various ways. The problem with Gumbario and Goombella is you get them at the beginning of the game. You get them before the game really starts, so they don't have a character arc. They have characters which is why they're not ranked at the bottom, because they have well-written characters, and they do play off Mario really well in very different ways. Gumbario is basically an idol, is basically a big-time Mario fan, and the fact that he idolizes Mario, and solely joins his adventure because he wants to actually, he has a dream of actually going on an adventure with Mario. And it's not really much of a character arc because you only get that right before he joins you. So I'm not really counting that. And he's a very kind-hearted Goomba. He gives you a hint. He gives some commentary in it. But overall, he's very plain. He does play off well off Mario because because Mario's very idealistic, and Goombario is basically just trying to emulate Mario as best as he can. So it gives a nice dynamic to them. And then we have Goombella, who's very snarky, very sarcastic, loves giving a comment. Like a thing that happens at my job is my boss sometimes my boss and the district manager actually tease me for like, you gotta stop having a comment for everything. It's like, I don't. It's very much Goombella. Like Goombella the only reason I put Goombella tier higher than Gumbario is a simple fact that I think Goombella has better chemistry with Mario because Mario's in Rookport. He's in an area he's never heard of before. He's never been there before. And then she goes to help him from the kindness of her own heart as like a school assignment for like Goombario. And she's very, very snarky. Like you won't get their personalities unless you like tattle everything, but you notice there's a difference where Goombella has like a very snarky comment for literally everything. Like they did a lot of work with Goombella. Well, with Gumbario, he doesn't really have a comment for everything. He just tells it. He just more tells it as this, kind of relating more to Mario as a person, while Goombella representing more the area that Mario finds himself in, strange land he finds himself in. I just really prefer snarky characters. Like I said, Goombario's not bad. I just think Goombella kind of had a better slightly more chemistry with Mario. Again, Mario's silent, so you have to take what you get. I just want to leave it at that. So let's do the Koopas. We're actually gonna do all the same species first. Cooper and Koops. Cooper is he's bland. Like he kind of has the same thing as Gumbario, but instead of idolizing Mario, he idolizes another Koopa named Colorado, who basically and Colorado's basically an archaeologist. Cooper does have a character arc, but the thing is, his character arc is not in the chapter you get him in. His character arcs are in chapter 2, where you go to Dry Desert, and when you go to Lava Island, because Colorado is specifically in those chapters. So his character is specifically tied to Colorado. Like you won't progress with his character arc unless you play as him through those specific chapters. However, Colorado's not particularly a well-written character. He's just basically, he doesn't really play off Mario that well. Like, unlike Goombario. Like, Goombario plays off Mario pretty well, for Mario being a silent guy. Cooper doesn't really play off that well. Like, he's just there. It's like, he's the partner I actually rarely use the least out of any partner in Paper Mario, because he was just so boring. And the only reason that he's not in bottom tier is because he at least has a character arc. And I have a particularly good one because it's tied to another character that you don't see all the time. But at least it's something. At least something you can sink your teeth in, however little it'll happen. Because even with Colorado only appears in Dry Desert. He only really appears in one room in Dry Desert, and he appears like periodically in the Lava Island. That's not particularly good. Like, not particularly good. And then we have Koops. Koops is okay. He kind of suffers the same issue as Cooper, is the fact that his character is not doesn't really play off Mario that well. He's basically a shy, like timid Koopa who wants to be brave, so he can fight Hooktail the dragon and save the villagers of Petalburg. There we go. Save the people of Petalburg, and eventually become mayor. The problem is it really doesn't. Again, like Cooper, he doesn't really gel that well with Mario. I do like him a bit more because at least he has something more to sink his teeth into. But once you finish chapter 1, he doesn't really do much of anything. Like they don't really give him anything much to do to further his like character development or anything like that. He's just really there afterwards. He doesn't really gel. Like, he really doesn't. He does have a better character arc, is why he's ranked higher. And the fact, he does get brave over the course of the chapter. And he genuinely wants to help Mario out. Like, he wants to help out Mario as best as he can. And he journeys with Mario specifically so he can try and be more brave and become a better person and try and earn his own level of respect of going back to his village and becoming mayor and stuff like that. I think it's okay. There's nothing outstanding, but it's okay. Then we have Bombette. Bombette's a D. She has no character. She has barely any character to speak of. Just like Cooper, she doesn't really gel that well. Like, you don't get another character that gels well with Mario in the original Paper Mario until you get the battle. She doesn't really gel that well. She has barely a story. She's basically, her and the Bob-Ombs lived in Koopa Brothers' fortress, and then the Koopa Brothers showed up, locked them in jail, because the Koopa Brothers are the Koopa Brothers, and they just wanted to live there. Like, there's just not a lot, because Bombette and Cooper have a unique issue in the fact that you get both of them in the same chapter. Like, you get Cooper in the first half of chapter 1, and you get Bombette in the second half of chapter 1. And that kind of really hampers them because they don't have a character arc themselves. Like, Cooper at least has a character arc. It's just very limited in what it does, but Bombette doesn't even have a character arc. She barely has a character. She's basically Goombella light. It's not a good character. It's just not. Just so not. Really not. And we have Bombary. Oh, Bombary's an S tier. Let's talk about Bombary's character. He was a sailor who sailed in Ruport. He was a very famous man in Ruport. And he had a wife named Scarlet. However, during one of his sails, his wife got sick and died, but he never knew about it until he came back from the voyage. And when he found out, he blamed himself and swore to never sail again. And so he was living in basically abject, like, despair for supposedly years, because in order to get Bobbary to come join us, we had to actually give him a letter from Scarlet, and the letter we get is very old and molded, which means it was probably hidden for who knows how long, probably years. And Bob, you have this very despairly character. And he's written so well. He plays off Mario so well, being this like old-timey guy, like, oh, huff I say. So sort of like Toadsworth, kind of playing off Peach in a way, where he's basically like very old-timey. He kind of speaks in an old-timey way. He basically kind of talks Mario like a son or a brother or stuff like that. It plays off really well, and that kind of plays to the strength of Keelhaul Key. And the fact of the very first half of Keelhaul Key is just trying to get Bobbary to join your crew, because once you get to Keelhaul Key, the whole ship crashes by Cortez, Bobbery thinks he's gonna die, and you have to get him you gotta get him Coca-Cola or wine in the Japanese version, and then he's ready to go see Scarlet. He supposedly dies. It turned out he's sleeping, and then you just wake him up. Like, oh, I'm still alive. Well, maybe these old bones can help you get. Let's do this right up. And he joins you. He joins you as thanks for helping him get out of his funk and helping him out and giving him his love of the sea back. And it's really nice, and he does play off really well with Mario. There's a thing with both Thousand Year Door and Paper Mario. Some characters play off really well with Mario, some partners don't. And Bobbery is a really good example of a character that just plays off Mario so spectacularly that I just really love Kyohoki. Bobbery is really much the reason why I like Kyohoki. Granted, there's more to love when you get farther into that chapter, like Cortez. I like Cortez. But yeah, he just a really well written character with you can't even start chapter 5 until you get him to join you, and you have to actually go around Rootport, try to do this little mission to basically cheer him up by give him the letter from Scarlet. And he plays off so well with Mario. I'm just acting like a father figure, like a pseudo father figure to Mario. And it's really well done. So yeah, he gets an S tier. So let's see who's next. Let's do the flying types. Both of these are no. Let's see. Is there any? No. Who should we do next? Let's do the babies next. Let's do the babies. Watt and Yoshi are both C tier. They have the same issues as Goombella and Gumbario in the fact they don't have a character arc. They do have a character arc, but it's literally the same arc. They're basically babies. You literally birth Yoshi, the mini Yoshi, in of Glitz and Glory. Granted, I like the gimmick of him changing colors depending on time. And Watt is a little Sparky who basically just was kind of captured by the Lantern Ghost, and then once you free him, he's like, hey, I want to, and basically their main character arc is the same. They just want to explore the world, and they kind of join Mario, just basically. Granted, Yoshi's more like, hey, you gave me birth, you saved my life, I'm gonna go. I just gotta let's you want to fight? It's like I got these 2 fists and some eggs to lay. Whose face you want me to egg first? Come on. Look at these guns. Yeah. They have character arcs. They're just the same character arcs. They don't really have much in the way of characters. They have a similar character arc of just wanting to explore the world. Granted, Mini Yoshi's more of a scrappy person. He wants to pick fights and stuff like that. While Watt is more idealistic and just wants. Again, it's supposed to reflect the areas where you're in, because you have a more kiddie character with Watt in the Shy Guys toy box, while you get the mini Yoshi in Glitzville, which is literally a wrestling arena sort of deal. So you got that. But they're not really that good characters. I don't particularly like the characters because they're just basic. Baby Yoshi kind of gels with Mario, but kind of not. And the same thing with Watt. They kind of go well. They kind of have chemistry, but they kind of don't. It's just so weird. Oh yeah, I'm gonna stick them in C tier. There's just not a lot because they're just babies. So it's all you got with going with the babies is just, I want to explore. It's okay, you can explore. Let's see. Let's go with who's next? Let's go with Flurry next. Flurry kind of gets a bad rap in the game because a lot of people don't like her moveset, but since we're not basing it off her moveset, and honestly, Flurry is better than you actually might think because she's probably the best tank partner you had got. Hey, she's a solid character. She has a lot going for her. Like, granted, her moveset is just basically kind of like, oh, she gets to squash people with her stage presence. But we're not talking about her moveset. We're talking about her character. She's very important to Boggly Woods because she was actually a former actress who moved to Boggly Woods because she burned out. And that's actually a real thing that happens. Like a lot of authors, like when it comes to writing, a lot of people when they love something, they sometimes burn themselves out and they kind of lose the passion for their love. It's part of the reason why I do videos like this and the Let's Plays, because so I don't burn myself out too much and basically lose my passion in reading. And she moves to Boggly Woods to basically live there. And when you meet her, you don't really meet her at first. She basically is locked behind a door. She tells you to go get the necklace, where you have to fight the Shadow Sirens to get the necklace from. Then you have to go back to her, give her the necklace. And then I think this is the part where people give Flurry a bad rap. She comes out, and I kid you not, soft porn music plays. It sounds like soft porn music to me. Either it's very sensual music. She shows up with roses and stuff like that, and then she's like, "Oh, Mario, thank you for giving me my necklace. Give Mama some sugar." And then she literally glomps Mario. And her character is she's basically an actress. So she acts very, very over the top to a lot of things. She hams it up a lot. I think she's the most hammy character of Mario. Out of all Mario's partners in Thousand Year Door, better yet, I actually think she's more hammy than Bao. Lady Bao hams it up a lot in Paper Mario. But I think even Lady Bao doesn't hold a candle to how much ham Flurry has. Flurry's an actress, so she kind of skilled, but she overreacts to a lot of things. She's very dramatic, and it's just she doesn't, and it's good. But the problem why it stops her in S rank, because she has a really good character. Two things: one, her character arc is not good. She literally only wants to go with Mario to reignite her passion, and two, she doesn't really gel well with Mario. She has a really good character. She has no chemistry with Mario. In my opinion, she does not gel with Mario. Now I'm thinking about it, I think I may actually just bump her. I'm gonna bump Flurry down to B, because she has a really, really good character, but she's not like Goombella, where Goombella at least has chemistry with Mario. No, she has a really, really outrageous character and completely fits with everything going on. Being the whole stage play aspect, because when you play Paper Mario, it takes place on a stage. Or specifically Thousand Year Door. And it fits that aspect of it. She has zero chemistry with Mario. She does not play off of Mario well at all. So it kind of makes sense that she's more her own thing rather than basically being with, gelling well with Mario, which makes sense. Let's say with the Mama features with Sushi. Sushi's nutty. She doesn't really have a character arc. Lava Lava Island is unique in the fact there's 3 acts to it. There is the Yoshi act, there is the Jungle act, and then the Volcano act. Sushi's only really relevant in the Yoshi act, where all the Yoshi's babies are missing, and you basically have to go rescue them. It's oh, I'm really mad, I want to protect the Yoshi. She's basically a mama bear for the Yoshis, and that's it. She doesn't really have any chemistry. Granted, he doesn't have much chemistry with Mario. She has a little bit of chemistry. I would say she has more chemistry than Flurry. The problem is, she doesn't have much of a character arc. 1, and 2, her character is very, very bland. She has a character, unlike Bombette. Bombette doesn't have a character. So she at least has a character. But she's just so weak in everything. And I had to put her in D. Sushi's character is that she's just a very overprotective mother figure to the baby Yoshis. She's basically their caretaker / babysitter. And she kind of plays like Flurry in the fact that she is kind of overdramatic at times. It's just, it fits Flurry's character. It fits Flurry more than Sushi. Because Sushi is not an actress, and she kind of doesn't really ham it up as much as Flurry. Like, if you play Thousand Year Door, once you get Flurry, just play it through Flurry all the time. You would not believe how much ham just how outrageous she can get at times. But Sushi is very subdued, to the point where she doesn't really have much of a presence, because she just doesn't have much of a presence outside of Lava Lava Island. And every time when I played Paper Mario, once I got into the the volcano area of Lava Lava Island, I just stopped using Sushi because I just never found any use for her. Because I had Watt, I had Bao, I had Pericary, I even had Gumbario. I mean, she was just I even used Bombette more than Sushi, like in certain areas. But Sushi was so. It's just such a nothing thing from the game. It's just you get nothing. So yeah, that's it. Let's finish up. Let's do another Paper Mario. Let's do Pericary. Pericary is actually not bad from a character standpoint. He's very clumsy. You basically find him outmatched rugged. And he lost his letters, and you basically just want to. I think I talked about the whole Pericary thing in the chapter tier list, but talking from an individual character standpoint is good. His character arc is actually very unique in the series. Is the fact that his character arc is actually specifically tied to an entire submission. Basically, once you get him, you get an entire submission unlocked, where you basically go around and you basically get to find letters, and you give them to Pericary, and you bring them to the mail area to basically get them sent to people. Not people. You basically act as a mail courier, and he's very clumsy. He's very kind of skittish sort of thing. He does have the only thing that stops him from being S rank is the fact he doesn't really have much in the way of chemistry with Mario. He does have a little chemistry, but not enough to bump him to S tier. He has a really good character. He's very skittish. He's very clumsy. Apparently, he's only really there because he can fly, and he's really all they have. But he constantly loses letters. So, and his entire character arc is specifically tied to a unique thing, in the fact it's a submission, meaning you have to go out of your way to start his character arc. But it is nice to actually see him constantly talk. If you have him when you give people the letters, then you see him kind of talk, and you see him he's very proud of it. So he knows he's kind of bad at his job, but he wants to be better. So it's a very simple character arc, but again, he just doesn't have much character. He just does not have as much chemistry as Mario, which just stops him from being S tier. So we're gonna save these two for last because, spoiler, these two are gonna be S tier. Lackluster. He's a B tier. He's basically the guy trying too hard. That's basically it. He does have he actually has some real good chemistry with Mario. Because he's the type of guy who would like to do all the talking himself. He's like, hey, what about it? Don't worry about it, Mario. I'm gonna smash these guys. I'm gonna take a spiny. I'm gonna smack him in the face. And then when you and me, we're gonna have some cannolis, and my girlfriend's gonna come with me. She's gonna be a third wheel, and then she's gonna smack you in the face. And you'll forget about it. He works for Huff and Tough, but he doesn't want to do that because he's too cool for school. He's just trying way too hard to be just an over-the-top, edgy boy. It kind of comes off as funny, and that kind of plays off Mario pretty well, because Mario's just he's the one character that seriously takes advantage of Mario being silent. Because he's trying to do all the talking for him and Mario, and it comes off as very hilarious. So I like that. I genuinely like that little aspect, that little detail. He doesn't have much of a character arc, which kind of stunts him. In the fact that he's like, oh, he's just trying too hard to be cool. That's his character arc too. It's kind of sad because I really wanted to put him higher, but I couldn't. I really couldn't. Miss Miles D. She has no character arc. Does not. She is unique, just like Pericary, in the fact that Miss Mouse is optional, so you don't actually have to get her. So let's kind of talk about the thing that kind of makes her bad. For one thing, she has no chemistry with Mario. She's basically like a floozy thief that she only joins Mario because she realizes that Mario can get her the badges that she can sell. Because she also runs the badge shop in Rootport. And when you get her, her secretary gets it too. It just doesn't have any chemistry. She doesn't have much of a character besides Floozy, because, like, she just shows up, steals some badges, gives Mario a kiss, and then leaves. It's like, oh, you're my hunk of cheese. And then, like, whichever character you're talking to basically makes, like, a snarky comic, basically in various ways of calling her a whore. And she has no character arc. Her character arc is like, I'm only joining Mario because of my job. And you can lead me to some badges so I can sell them. It's bad. It's just so bad. She has no character. She has nothing going for her. She's the worst partner of that. If it went from, if we added movesets, she'd still be bottom of the tier because her movesets are completely horrible. A healing move for 10 HP? Okay, it's 10 FP. Why would I spend that much? But yeah, it's like the way the cookie crumbles. Yeah. Okay, so let's wrap this up. Let's make this obvious. Bao and Vivian are both S tier. Bao was basically just better Flurry. Like the thing with Flurry is the fact that she doesn't really have much chemistry with Mario, and her character arc's not good. Her character's really good. Bao is basically Flurry she didn't have as much, she wasn't as over the top as Flurry, but she had really good chemistry with Mario, and she has a really good character arc. And the same thing is with Vivian. Like if I put Bobbery at the no. I'd put Bao would be on top. Like this would be the top. This would be the rank. This would be the Miss Mouse would be bottom. Bao would be top. Now, you know what? No, I'll bump Vivian just barely above Bao. So let's talk about Bao first. Let's talk about her character. She's basically a very, very snooty sort of rich person because she technically is the leader of the boos in the Forever Forest Gusty Gulch area. And hold on. Okay. Yeah. So back to Lady Bao. Sorry, I actually got a call. Bao's character she's a very hoity-toity, royal type. But she lays off on thick. Like, she has no repentance because at the end of when you beat Telebubba, she reveals that, the boos were, she was the one who led the boos to bully him to, in essence, start the whole thing with Telebubba becoming, getting invincible and in boos. She basically like sorry, not sorry. And she's very, very snarky. She's basically a better Goombella in the fact that Goombella is her character, which is like Goombella's good. Like I said, the only thing wrong with Goombella is she has no character arc. If she had a character arc, she'd be right there. Like that's the only thing stopping her from being a S tier because I think From a chemistry standpoint, Goombella probably has the best chemistry of Mario. It's just she has no character arc. Bao's character arc is the fact that you see her kind of defrosting, like you see her kind of soften up a little bit. Like she has like a very, very snarky edge to her. Like she's very, very spooky and just wants to like, sorry. Do you want me to just scare you and make it better? And she works off Mario so well, and the fact that she's so loud and Mario's so quiet. Basically, like a straight man to like Goombella, like Bao's over exaggerated shenanigans. And she plays off Mario so well with that. And the fact that she's just a complete and utter douchebag. Like that's really a selling point for Bao. She's just an unrepentant douchebag. And she doesn't care what anyone, she'll say it to anyone. She doesn't care. She's a boo. She can't die. She can't die. If anyone messes with her, she'll just open up her fan and slap him across the face. But yeah, she has really, really well chemistry. You know what? I actually would put Goombella like at the top for if she had a character arc. Any character arc at all would just bump her to S tier. But yeah, Bao is just really, really hilarious. She's very entertaining. She's very hammy. Not as hammy as Flurry. Like I said, Flurry is so over the top, and that carries her to like B tier. But Bao is just completely over the top as well. She's very hilarious. She has a lot of good chemistry with Mario. She's completely essential to the chapter because and her character arc is very simple of just her, basically defrosting a little bit and kind of having some hesitance about wanting to bully Tubba Blubba. She probably still bully Tubba Blubba anyway, but it's like she'd probably be hesitant a little bit to make sure it doesn't happen again. That's fine. And then we got Vivian. Oh boy, we got Vivian. Vivian, best girl. Character. She has a inferiority complex. And yes, that's actually mentioned in the log of her character. If you play Thousand Year Door, you pause the game, you go to the partner section, you actually go to Vivian when you get her. It actually literally says she has an inferiority complex right there in the game. That is a big game. That is a big word that Nintendo used for that game. And again, Metroid Prime 2 used like Neophyte. I use Neophyte sometimes. Vivian has a inferiority complex. She's constantly bullied by her sister Beldum. And that kind of makes her want to blame everything. The reason I connected with Vivian when I was younger was I saw a lot of myself in Vivian. That's why I have the Vivian plushie that I still have, that I bought. And I connected a lot with Vivian's character. She's basically someone who's always wanting to be good, but is always put down, and so she's constantly blaming herself for every little thing that happens. And she basically just wants to do good. Like that's more or less what her character arc is. She joins Mario because she was the very first person that was nice to her, and realizes that there are good people in this world, and she wants to go with the person who gave her kindness, gave her something she never had before. And so she journeys with Mario for literally just out of the kindness of her heart. She unlike like every other partner in Thousand Year Door, like they have a specific purpose. Like Yoshi wants to explore the world. Miss Mouse wants badges. Flurry wants to ignite her passion. Koops wants to get courageous. And Goombella wants to just basically learn everything about the world around her. Basically wants to learn new locations and places and basically help Mario. But with Vivian, she only joins Mario because he was nice to her, and she wants to repay that niceness to him by just willingly joining. Like she didn't need to actually join in that game because Mario just basically helped her, tried to talk to her a little bit. And yes, if you actually watch Chapter 4, They do actually talk. So it's like Mario doesn't say anything, but he does actually talk, but you don't know what he's saying. And so Vivian basically is like, you know what, you're kind to me. I want to help you. It's like, I don't want to go anywhere. I say, I want to help. And that kind of branches out into her character arc. And she has a big character arc. Just like Pericary and Miss Mouse, her character arc is unique in the fact her character arc actually doesn't end until you get to the Palace of Shadow. But you don't know that unless you have Vivian as your partner the entire game, because you see her get more courageous, you see her still keep that edge of kindness, that very kind edge to her, but you see her get tougher, you see her want to toughen up and wisen up, and you see her stop making herself the fault for every little thing, and you see that slowly over the course of the story. That's why Vivian is the best tier. She has very good chemistry with Mario, not as much as Bobbery or Bao. I think, like, in terms of chemistry, she doesn't really have as much chemistry as these two. Like, if it was just based on chemistry, I'd put her at bottom of this tier. But her core character, and more importantly, her character arc are just so really well done. It's why a lot of people love Vivian, because they don't care. I mean, yeah, she is useful in battle because all of her moves do fire damage. But a lot of people love Vivian because of her character arc, because of her character and her character arc, and how you see that. And she's basically the only example of long-term storytelling in terms of a character arc across both games. Granted, Super Paper Mario is very much a long-term story. It completely follows different rules. So, you know, there's that. But Vivian just completely compounds everything. Granted, I would still say the same. If Goombella had a character arc, she would even bump Vivian off the perch. Like, and that's saying something, because out of all these characters that have chemistry with Mario, Goombella actually has the best chemistry with Mario, because Goombella just has a snarky comment and everything. And she just plays off Mario, even like the Silent Game, so well. But that's saying something with Goombella's character. Again, the only reason she's not in A rank is Goombella has no character arc. But with Vivian, she has such her character arc is the only one that extends past the chapter. Granted, Cooper does that too, but that's really limited in those personal chapters. It's just two specific parts in 2 chapters. Well, with Vivian, it's the rest of the game once you get her. Even before you even start her character, you even given a glimpse of her character when you meet them in the Boggly Woods, with Beldum blaming Vivian for everything going on. And Vivian just completely kind of trying to basically half-assing defending herself, because she knows that, you know, she still kind of sees that it's still her fault in a roundabout way. But Vivian has such a great character arc. It's why I love Vivian. Like, granted, I first fell in love with Vivian because of her character, because she's basically so similar to my situation, always getting blamed, and, you know, I always, you know, getting a slight inferiority complex myself, so I was basically like her in a lot of ways. But once I got into reading more and more, and I figured out the nuances, I fell in love with her again because of her because of how well written she is. She is such a league above every other partner in terms of just pure writing, in terms of the character arc and stuff like that. That I couldn't put her anywhere but the top of the pack. So yeah, that's my tier list of the partners of Paper Mario 1 and 2. Next video after this will be my review of Paper Mario Temple of the Sun. I thank everyone, and this has been Dark Symphony 777, and cut.